Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. The best ones are YouTube and Rumble. That's where the live chats are. That's where you can join the conversation. You can also always join the conversation on the phone lines or the text line. Same number for both, 615-737-9986. There is a lot to get to today. And we're going to try to not spend the entire show on the Charlie Kirk developments, but there have been developments. And yesterday, J.D. Vance hosting his show, that was unbelievable. I joked with my wife, and this is and maybe it's dark humor. Maybe it's dark humor. But it really made me chuckle because, as you know, Charlie's show starts at 11 o'clock Central. So I joked with my wife yesterday, 2 days ago, and I said, when I found out J.D. Vance was hosting, and I said, geez, I'm still competing with this guy. I'm like, what are you doing to me? And I'm obviously kidding. And much love to the vice president for hosting that show. It was a barn burner. J.D. Vance going full scorched earth. We don't want unity with you guys. And we're going to play some of the highlights from that episode. Because really, it was just a remarkable thing to see. You're hosting Charlie's radio show from the White House. It was incredible. Before we get to that, I just want to thank everybody that showed up last night in Murfreesboro. We had an unbelievable vigil for Charlie Kirk last night at the Fountains at Gateway, Medical Center Parkway, and it was just so great to see everybody. And there were so many people there that I didn't get to see because it was a sea of people. But I got text messages. We had to sneak out early. We had some friends take the boys to baseball and do that for us. And shout out to them. They were just amazing people to offer that for us. So that way me and my wife could go. And we were down there, and I mean, a sea of people. I think Fox News was reporting, or Fox 17 was reporting that it was like 1,000 people. I think those numbers are low. I think it was much more than that. At least 2,000 people, maybe even more. It was a sea of people, and shout out to Murfreesboro's finest for keeping everybody safe. A huge police presence. Nobody was nervous about anything. And then also I want to shout out the kids. I mean, this was all hosted by Turning Point High School chapters. And these young kids got up there, and a lot of people were like, Chris, are you speaking? No, I wasn't. This was the kids' event. And they did just a phenomenal job. Unbelievable young people that we have in this community. Shout out to Paxton and Izzy Faulkner. They just some great speeches. Just an amazing night full of prayer, and it was really heartwarming to see. And the community showed up. And we expect that in conservative states, but we've been seeing this all over the place, from California to Manhattan and everywhere in between. And it's just, it's amazing to see the response. It's just wonderful to see that silver lining. That being said, thank you again to everybody that showed up. But there is a lot of news to get to. I do want to play some of this J.D. Vance audio for everybody who missed it yesterday, because you guys obviously would never tune out of my show to listen to J.D. Vance.
No, of course not.
No, they wouldn't do that to me. I don't blame you if you did. But I was secretly listening during the commercial breaks. I'm not gonna lie to you. So J.D. Vance, he was very upset, as you can imagine. These guys are friends. They go back a long way. I think JD was at like 3% support before Charlie and Turning Point came in and endorsed JD in the Ohio Senate race. JD understandably owes a lot to Charlie Kirk and knows that. And he's just been by Charlie's side since what went down on Wednesday. Literally. I mean, from flying Charlie back to Phoenix on Air Force Two to hosting the radio show, just unbelievable. There are people that worry about J.D. Vance and, is he a Peter Thiel guy? And I don't know, maybe, but I think he's authentic, and I think that he really misses his friend, and that's kind of the what I learned listening to the show yesterday. Just that same thing. I think he misses his friend, but he was very upset, as one could understand, especially when you have all these publications putting out outright lies about Charlie Kirk. He took specific aim at a publication called The Nation. I didn't see the exact article, but I mean, you can fill in the blanks. Out of context quotes: Charlie's a racist and a bigot and a homophobe and a transphobe and a Nazi. Something along those lines. J.D. Vance on that article and on the calls for unity.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits. The very evidence she provides, this hack of a writer, shows that she lied about a dead man, and yet she wrote it. An esteemed magazine published it. It made it through the editors, and of course, liberal billionaires rewarded that attack.
We've seen this so many times. It's getting tiresome, in all honesty. The celebrations of Charlie Kirk's death, the outright lies that we're seeing about Charlie Kirk post-demise, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But there's a silver lining to that. There are people that see those lies and go, let me do my own research. There's a lot more people watching Charlie Kirk today than they were last week, and that's a blessing. And there's a lot of people that want to find out about Charlie on their own. So, I mean, listen, your boos mean nothing because we've seen what makes you cheer. J.D. Vance continues on and says you can't have unity with people like this.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics.
Facts.
There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Amen.
And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I'm desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. These are the words that a lot of conservatives wanted to hear. And J.D. Vance furiously proclaimed them yesterday on the Charlie Kirk Show. I posted this clip on my Instagram story, and I get this message from a guy that I went to high school with, and we trade barbs occasionally. He is a leftist, free Palestine guy, and he said to me, and in no short words, he said, "This is the same political party that is condoning a genocide in Palestine." To which I wrote, "Shut the bleep up. Nobody cares what you have to say today. We're not doing both sides on this. We're not doing whataboutism. And furthermore, a-hole, your Palestinian protesters just interrupted a Charlie Kirk vigil last night in Austin, Texas, at UT Austin. That's your people. Kick rocks." To which he quickly apologized, as he should. I don't want unity right now. I want people to be held accountable. What does that look like? I don't know yet. We're still shaking everything out. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm a lot more interested in the Israel theories today than I was yesterday. A lot more. That being said, I haven't seen mountains of evidence. I haven't. The evidence that I see only points to the official narrative. But I'm keeping an eye on it. Just a heads up. I am keeping an eye on it. But where we are today, it's a dark place. I mean, we see what looks to be an Antifa cell, many members that had prior knowledge of the assault, a just mentally deranged shooter who thought he was doing something for the common good. That's the narrative that we have today. What does that look like tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, there's been so many narratives already. It was Israel did it, and then it was the Groypers did it, and now we're really landing on Antifa today. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm keeping an open mind. And I'll let new information change my mind. I mean, obviously, the most obvious thing that could have happened is what we're being told. And with all the rumors around Israel, I would just say both things can be true at the same time. And that's kind of where I land on the Israel stuff, while I am keeping more of an eye on it. Did Benjamin Netanyahu offer Charlie Kirk $150 million for a stake in Turning Point USA? I haven't heard that directly from anybody. Could be true. Was Charlie feeling tremendous pressure by platforming guys like Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson? Absolutely. Like, that's true. Did he have an intense meeting with Bill Ackman? I've heard that was true. But I'd say at the exact same time, all those things can be true, and a lunatic trans-Tifa member can take a shot at Charlie Kirk. Like, both things can be true at the same time. But as of right now, I do lean on the official story. It seems to me like that is the most reasonable assumption. And when I hear J.D. Vance angrily screaming, "No unity," that resonates with me. Because I don't know if you've seen this, but I sure as hell have. They won't even let Charlie Kirk's memorials be. They're being destroyed all over the country. Colorado, Florida. You still have members of the left calling Charlie Kirk a white supremacist and a Nazi and a bigot. I don't want unity with that side. But there's a lot of stories out, man. I'll bring you what's happening to some of these Charlie Kirk memorials on the way. Plus, we'll highlight how these leftists are raising their kids. I have a piece of audio that is going to make your blood boil. And I'll play it for you next. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res of Nashville. And you already know I got a lot of kids, got a couple dogs, and me and the wife are always saying, guys, take your shoes off before you come in the house. How often do you think they do that? Very rarely. Very rarely. But we try not to stress anymore because we got Zero Res on speed dial. Zero Res comes through. They use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Cleaner carpets and upholstery that are staying clean even longer. So we can let the kids sprawl out on the floor. The dogs can roll around. We don't have to worry about what's in the fibers and the mystery stains. They're gone. And it's not just carpets. They do air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. It's perfect for you if you're dealing with the baseball season blues like I am. Right now, you can get some fantastic deals. All you got to do is give them a call. 615-535-9376 for Zero Res of Nashville. 615-535-9376. This is who cleans my carpets. They should clean yours as well. ZeroResNashville.com. So we got Gavin Newsom out here doing his absolute best to try and intimidate MAGA.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these in the mouth.
You know, it's funny. I can't think of one person that's actually intimidated by Gavin Newsom. Okay. I stand corrected. That Chinese kid looked pretty intimidated.
Coming up, Tyler Robinson's alleged online confession and why some Nashville residents say they're fed up with the Nashville rescue mission. All of that and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand, 927 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. J.D. Vance yesterday proclaiming we can have no unity with the people that cheer on Charlie Kirk's death. I agree with that. And we see these just awful, vile individuals and what they're doing at all of these Charlie Kirk memorials. It's happening all over the place. It's not going to happen in Shelbyville tonight. I can tell you that much. It didn't happen in Murfreesboro last night. Shelbyville has another prayer vigil tonight. HV Griffin Park at 7 o'clock. A couple people texted in wanting me to shout that out. Happy to. Charlie Kirk vigil tonight, Shelbyville, HV Griffin Park at 7 p.m. You're definitely not going to see what we saw in Colorado and Shelbyville. In Colorado, a Charlie Kirk memorial was burned to the ground by vandals on Saturday. Yep. It's just like, oh, awesome. Who wouldn't want to unite with these people?
What happened to Charlie was unspeakable. Everyone is destroyed over this.
So Michael and his family created a memorial along their fence to honor the slain CEO of Turning Point USA. But late Saturday night, vandals lit the display on fire.
When they burnt that fence, that fire could have went into that house and it could have really harmed somebody.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. They burned the vigil. It could have lit the house on fire. These people are vile. What they did in Florida was even more infuriating. Somebody painted a mural of Charlie Kirk, said "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk" with the dates, and the radical leftists took that over with some spray paint and said, "A good Nazi is a dead Nazi." Spray painting things that were written on the bullets. "Hey, fascist, catch!" Covering it up with Palestinian flags. Just insane. Insane people out there. It's frustrating me. And then you think to yourself like, oh, how could this happen? How could this happen? And I come across this video last night and it's like, oh, this is how it happens because people raise their kids like this.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
That video broke my heart.
It's like a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And the mom's laughing. What was the news? What was the good news?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift!
Taylor Swift doesn't like you, lady. Taylor Swift wants nothing to do with you.
Definitely not best friends.
You're a vile, gross woman, and she's not on camera, but I'm sure she's obese. I'm sure of it. I hate these people. And I don't say that lightly. How could you raise your kids like that? It's disgusting. And when you raise kids like that, you turn them into the type of people who are desecrating memorials for the dead. Awful. What the hell happened to this country? In UT Austin, pro-Palestinian protesters crashed a Charlie Kirk vigil last night. Savannah Hernandez was there. She's going to join the show at 10:35. Sav is super close with Charlie as well, working on the Frontlines team. She's been a reporter with them for years, and she's going to join us at 10:35. Really looking forward to that conversation. But we're seeing so much, and then there's another clip going viral. This woman at a local Illinois news station gave a heartfelt tribute to Charlie Kirk on the air and got suspended for it. Yeah, suspended. Could you imagine if I got suspended for my show on Thursday? Could you imagine? I mean, that's the equivalent of what happened to this woman. And I'll play you that clip after the news with Joan Jones. It's 9:31, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And members of Congress honored Charlie Kirk last night on Capitol Hill. And more is being learned from investigators today.
A vigil at the U.S. Capitol last night honored conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Among the speakers, Congressman Steve Scalise, who was shot at a congressional baseball practice in 2017.
It can never be accepted as the norm in this great country. It goes against everything that our country was founded upon.
New details are emerging about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. FBI Director Kash Patel says Robinson has admitted to the killing.
ABC's Lionel Moisey, in a chat in the online platform Discord, Robinson apparently said, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Other news, Nashvillians living in the Salem Town neighborhood say they're fed up with people who are getting help at the newly reopened Women and Children's Shelter associated with the Nashville Rescue Mission.
When their guests defecate in our yards and on our porches, I'm sorry, that's not a sufficient answer.
It's affecting every aspect of my life. Where you're meeting on the street.
Friends solicited for prostitution leaving my house.
The rescue mission says that it'll take a fresh look at security in the immediate future. We now know the National Guard will be deployed to Memphis on Friday.
It's a very important thing. We have to save our country from violent crime.
President Trump saying yesterday the force will include the National Guard, also the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security, and investigators from the U.S. Marshals Service. And a federal law enforcement operation is underway right now at an apartment complex in West Nashville. News 2 reporting it's been going on since 6 o'clock this morning at an apartment complex on Cabot Drive. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here, and I got to tell you about my friends at Cabinet Makeovers. We've had some brand new cabinets installed in my house, but they're pull-out cabinets, and they're amazing. My wife loves them, so you know I'm loving them too. This is all installed by a family-owned company, serving Middle Tennessee for over 45 years. Everything they do is Tennessee-made. Every cabinet, pull-out, drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft close glide. Craftsmanship is top-notch. Their team has decades of experience, and you can feel it in the work. Now, here's what really makes them special. Like, a well-designed kitchen is going to change everything for you. Physically, we're not bending down anymore, digging for pots and pans in the back of the cabinets. It all pulls out. We're walking into this beautiful kitchen, lifting our spirits every single day, and then it's not just a great upgrade, it's an investment in your home. They don't stop at kitchens. They do custom closets, pantries, and cabinetry. So talk to Cabinet Makeovers today. They're going to hook you up. 615-331-7010. That's 615-331-7010. Or find them online and see examples of their unbelievable work. CabinetMakeoversTN.com. It's 9:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can find me on all the social media platforms except for Facebook. I got the same handle on all of them: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and True Social, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I do appreciate it. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Real quick, I want to pay off that tease. This poor woman. Local ABC affiliate anchor Benny Ray Harmony has resigned because she got suspended for giving a Charlie Kirk tribute on her newscast. Kid you not. Listen to her tribute, and you tell me if she deserved to get suspended or not.
Much for tuning into Marketplace today. So I want to talk about something for a minute, and it is heavy, so please bear with me. I want you to know that it's okay if you feel sadness. It's okay if you're grieving. 2 days ago, I lost a mentor, my first boss, the first person who made me believe in myself, that encouraged me to chase this dream that you're watching right now. Charlie Kirk. There's a lot going on in our world right now, in our country, but I want to say one thing. Lean on your neighbors. Speak up for what you believe in. I don't care what it is. I want to share with you one of my favorite sayings that Charlie would always tell us at the office. He would yell it from the mountaintops, so please listen. When conversations stop happening, when individuals become wordless, that's when violence begins. So, if you do one thing today, make it be with passion, with conviction. Stand up for your friends, stand up for your beliefs, and speak loudly, even if your voice shakes. Your words have meaning. Your values have purpose. Never forget that. Thank you, CK. You changed my life.
That's the tribute. Heartwarming. She didn't attack any groups. She didn't say anything offensive. She's just heartbroken over losing her former boss and mentor. Very similar to how I felt on Thursday. Very similar. I didn't get suspended for it. She did. She got suspended for that. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you this much. I gained a lot of respect for her, though, because she stood on business and said, screw you guys, I'm going home. She resigned from the job. Good. It's not just about awful employees who cheer on Charlie Kirk's death. It's awful employers who feel like Charlie Kirk deserved to die. And I'll tell you what, that local ABC affiliate in Illinois, trash. Just absolute trash. This is Springfield, Illinois. WICS in Springfield, Illinois. I hope their ratings tank. I hope people lose their mind over this. What a trash company. What parent company do they have? Let's find out together, shall we? It's the same parent company as Fox 17 here locally in Nashville. That's weird. Sinclair. Trash people. This kind of stuff infuriates me. I'm sure it infuriates you. There's other stuff that makes me angry, and I've been trying not to be angry. It gets harder every day, man. Every single day. The further I get away from being sad about it, the quicker I get angry about it. And it's hard not to be angry. It's hard. We're learning more about the shooter. Dan Bongino was on Fox News last night, and he was talking about the motive. You know, the motive that the Democrats say that we have no idea about. Dan Bongino said, come on, guys. Come on. We understand the motive.
The governor, Cox, said he had a leftist ideology. I don't know what issues were important to him. Maybe you can share that with us today. And Kash Patel said, if I've got this right, he said, I'm looking at facts, not motive. What's the working theory now as to motive?
Well, I think it's pretty clear based on the statements of family members, friends, and some of the messaging we have on these digital footprints left behind, that he clearly had some obsession with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is obviously a conservative commentator. That's no secret to anyone out there. So while, again, I don't want to speak in advance and jeopardize the case in any way, I think it's fairly obvious to everyone out there, and there's no need to parse words with it, that clearly this was an ideologically motivated attack. I mean,
Obviously. Again, and I mentioned it earlier, the conversation around Israel and their involvement is growing louder, especially when you got people like Candace Owens and Cernovich and more, a lot more out there talking about stuff behind the scenes. I haven't seen any evidence that points to that. I'm interested. I'd like to see some evidence, but I haven't seen it. All the evidence points to what Bongino is telling us here. You know exactly what motivated this killer. Transgender boyfriend, trans community. Like, we can kind of put it together, right?
Charlie Kirk is a conservative commentator who sadly and tragically gave his life, underneath a sign asking people to challenge his ideas, the very essence of our constitutional republican. Bill, if I may, I know it's a news show, but, Charlie was my friend. Charlie wasn't my friend. Charlie was my good friend. And I spent the weekend, after coming back from Utah, looking through text exchanges going back years with Charlie. And it's kind of hard to believe he's not here. So, this has been hard for everyone. And I think it's fair and appropriate for every one of the taxpayers who finances your FBI to ask questions about everything. You know what? It wasn't perfect, but it should be. Next time we'll try to make it more perfect. Mm-hmm. But I just ask everyone to keep in mind that both Kash and I, this was very emotional for us. We had to put that aside. We had a job to do. And when everything settled down and finally got a little bit of sleep last night, it hit me that, Charlie's not here anymore.
Charlie's not here anymore. Charlie's gone. I love the fact that Dan Bongino said, guys, it wasn't perfect. The FBI's investigation hasn't been awesome. And we made the point yesterday. It seemed like the FBI had been dropping the balls, whether it's releasing the footage of the shooter or apparently they didn't want, Gateway Pundit was reporting that they didn't want to identify the boyfriend, the transgender boyfriend in the media. There's a lot of stuff that you're like, it just makes you turn your head and go, really? Really? I love that he owned it. And I love that he said, we'll try and do better next time. I hope they do. I hope they give us as much information on this as humanly possible. We need transparency and openness because as of right now, it's just speculation online. And again, the theories have really snowballed. Part of me, and this is just me, I think that the left is in a tailspin. And I think a lot of these theories are powered by the left. Whether it was the Nick Fuentes Groyper shooter theory, which was everywhere online before we found out about the transgender boyfriend, or whether it's the Israel theory. I think a lot of this is being spun up to cause that confusion and really light the fire under that speculation. I'm open to anything. I just want to see evidence. And as of right now, all the evidence points to what Dan Bongino was talking about. Clearly, this guy had an obsession with Charlie Kirk, and it thinks it's obvious out there to everyone, not to parse words, as Dan Bongino said, that this was an ideologically motivated attack. So if that's the case, then we got to figure out where we go next. Stephen Miller joined J.D. Vance on the Charlie Kirk show yesterday, and Stephen Miller said that he's going to go after, dismantle, and attack these corrupt leftist networks.
Which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. If people ask me, what emotions I'm feeling right now, this is something people say, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So,
We've got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger and incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
Thank you, Stephen. Don't go away.
This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Antifa needs to be declared a terrorist network, with that, like domestic terrorists. That needs to happen. And we do need to crack down on these left-wing groups that are funding this radical ideology. I don't know if you saw last night, but it was breaking on X. And Data Republican, which is it's grown into like this big account that a lot of people follow. Data Republican put out a piece talking about these left-wing groups inside the Utah area that are being investigated by the FBI currently for their involvement with the hit. They said this is a major breaking news story. Data Republican had it all, and I'll put it up on the screen for you so you can follow along with us if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter. It says, major breaking, State Department and UN ties to armed queers SLC, Salt Lake City. Leader now confirmed. First, credit to SK-Dub33 for the crucial tip. Please follow. They'll be doing a podcast on this soon. Here's what you need to know. Armed Queers SLC is under investigation for possible foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Their leader, Ermaya Fanian, was recognized by a State Department-affiliated NGO, Utah Global Diplomacy, as a recipient of the 7 for 17 award for advancing UN 17 goals. This is back in 2022 when this person, who is a transgender individual, won that award. This is a man. It's presenting as a female, but it's a man. Utah Global Diplomacy has since scrubbed this person's presence from their website. Unknown when this purge happened. The receipts still remain. This group was receiving funding from USAID and the like. The defunding of USAID is becoming one of the most pivotal moments of the Trump administration. Make no mistake about it, because these dollars were going into these left-wing groups like Armed Queers for Salt Lake City, who is now under investigation for having possible foreknowledge. There's a lot of people that are under investigation for having possible foreknowledge of the attack. I mean, we've seen all the Twitter accounts, and this is what really hangs me up on the Israel theory. How are you planting all these breadcrumbs in the meantime? All these different Twitter accounts that had advanced knowledge of something big happening. All these Twitter accounts then quoting those tweets with advanced knowledge and celebrating it. I mean, I don't know how you fake that. I just don't. President Trump signaled that he is comfortable with labeling Antifa a terrorist organization. This happened yesterday in the Oval Office when they were talking about sending the National Guard to Memphis. This is the president.
Yes. Given all the that's going on with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the left-wing violence going on, do you have plans, and actually this is a great opportunity with all these, do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Should have been done a long time ago, if we're being perfectly honest. It should have been done a hell of a long time ago.
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah. There are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's Border Patrol, ICE, it's got whatever it is. And they're throwing rocks at it.
These groups need to be dismantled. And I pray that we get news today that Antifa is labeled a domestic terror organization. Again, this should have happened years ago. We need to make sure it happens soon. It's 9:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. We talk about Cover Nash all the time. If you need health insurance, you know you can get it right now. See, the biggest misconception in health insurance is that you have to wait for open enrollment. That's wrong. That's just what the big guys want you to think. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now. No waiting and no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment? No problem. Cover Nash has you covered. You lost your coverage because you lost your job? Talk to Cover Nash. You're just sick of overpriced junk insurance? You need to speak with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. They partner with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, even for specialists, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care, physicals, colonoscopies, the works, plan for individuals, families, even small businesses. It's time to stop overpaying. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop thinking you're stuck. Talk to Shane Ring today. 615-465-0023. That's the number to call. 615-465-0023. Get some health insurance on your terms, not the government's. CoverNash.com.
Hey everybody, the best way to remember Charlie Kirk is to share his message. Flood the feeds, go find his videos, post them, share them, because Charlie's message was incredibly important and it's even more important now. Share the words of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to start. Here's mine. You, go.
Are you a Christian by any chance?
Very, very much so.
Like, why is that exactly?
Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There's not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live.
What makes Christian mythology real?
So that's not mythology, but that is theology. If Genesis 1:1 and the resurrection is true, anything in the Bible is possible. You're looking at the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is creation. And then the fact that Jesus rose from the dead. And I say, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, show me another historical piece of a story where so many people willingly died a brutal death for a lie. Every single person around him had everything to lose, and yet they went to the absolute death, from Paul to Peter to the half-brother of James, saying that Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the dead. Not to mention, if you were going to fake a story, you would not use female witnesses in the ancient world. In the scriptures, it said that the women were the first one to see Jesus Christ. If you're trying to fake a story, you would never do that. Not to mention the 500 people that saw Jesus after he rose from the dead, and then the later church that lived under persecution under the belief that Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
Checking conditions at the approach of the airport after yesterday's massive gridlock. And a Hollywood legend has died. That and more coming up in just a couple of moments here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. On the way, 10:35, Savannah Hernandez, investigative journalist for Turning Point USA's Frontlines division. She's going to be joining the show. She was at a Charlie Kirk vigil last night, and it got invaded by Palestinian protesters. It's like, oh, great, just who we were looking for. These people are sick, absolutely sick. You want to win people over to your cause? Don't interrupt a prayer vigil. That would be my advice. We'll talk to Sav about that. Plus, on the way, there's a lot more news to get to. President Trump confirmed that he supports labeling Antifa and several other radical leftist organizations as terrorist organizations. And a reporter tried to get Donald Trump to walk back his comments about violence on the left. He didn't. Donald Trump not backing down. Stephen Miller saying they're going to carry out Charlie's wish to dismantle these NGOs, hold them criminally liable for fomenting violence. And members of the left just can't seem to contain themselves, from Don Lemon to David Hogg and everyone in between. We'll talk about it all on the way. It's 10:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10:01, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A huge turnout in Murfreesboro last night for a prayer vigil. In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, Fox 17 reporting about 1,000 people turned out to pray, sing, and light candles in his memory.
That's why I'm here tonight, is just because I feel like I need to mourn.
You know, I don't know why somebody would take somebody's life for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything everybody says. I don't think you ought to go shoot them or anything like that.
And FBI Director Kash Patel appearing before a Senate panel just now saying that there are 20 people being investigated in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, including members of Tyler Robinson Discord server. We'll have more on that as it progresses today. So what was that at the airport last night? Cars stood at a standstill for hours, causing passengers to miss their flights and causing others to pay hundreds of dollars for a short Uber ride.
All of our Ubers were canceling, and then we ended up going to the hotel to have a drink, and everybody's been there for like over 2 hours.
Others decided to leave the waiting behind, walking off-site just to catch a ride.
But she can't get into the airport.
Wow.
So I'm walking out to Donaldson Pike.
You're walking?
Yeah.
With more than 7,000 hotel rooms booked for a major convention in town, plus roadwork scheduled nearby from 9 to 3 p.m. starting Monday and continuing for 3 weeks, some passengers believe a perfect storm of factors played a role.
That's Fox 17's Madeline Nolan reporting. As for today, it's not clear if anything has really changed there, but I'm not seeing any delays on 40. Well, he was one of the most celebrated actors in Hollywood. Today, we have learned that Robert Redford has died at the age of 89.
Robert Redford's breakthrough role came in 1969 when he co-starred with Paul Newman in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I'll jump first. No. Then you jump first. No, I said. What's the matter with you? I can't swim! Why, are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
Redford and Newman teamed up again in 1973's The Sting, and that same year it was Redford and Barbra Streisand in The Way We Were. Redford went on to win a Best Director Oscar for Ordinary People. Asked once about the Oscar race.
If you're talking about a race, the Oscar race, that I have no use for.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And that is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Buckle up, everybody. Here we go. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us, YouTube, Rumble. We're up, we're live, we're streaming. Join the conversation in the chat. We appreciate when you do so. The phone lines and the text lines also open for you, 615-737-9986. Trevor in Unionville has been holding for a minute, and I appreciate you holding, Trevor. What do you got, man?
All right, so the Israel theories, Israel killing Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything at this point. I don't know who did it. It could be anybody. It just doesn't feel kosher. But I don't think it's them. And the reason being, what would they have to gain by doing that? If we found out they did that, they just lost their biggest ally.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I'm kind of leaning on the same thing. Like, dude, I don't think there's any sacred cows at all. Like, I want the information just as much as anybody. And if there's new information out there to change my mind, I'll be the first to tell you about it, but I just don't see it.
I'm with you. I think it was you. Somebody on the radio station said it's always the simplest answer.
Yep, Occam's razor, right?
It may wind up being more complicated than we think, but I still say that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I appreciate you holding. I think the issue, though, is how all of these institutions have been systematically destroyed and their credibility ruined over the past, 10, 15 years? I mean, all of them. All of them. Kash Patel is currently testifying at an oversight hearing in Washington, D.C. Like, this is happening right now. And during this hearing, Chuck Grassley just announced that the FBI had a whistleblower reveal to him that the FBI had a project called Arctic Frost that targeted groups like Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. And I would just point to this testimony that just broke. It is a bombshell, but this is why people don't trust official narratives anymore. It is the fault of these institutions for what they did. And I'd also lean back on when I heard this during the break, it made me chuckle because I was like, oh, yep, we were right. We definitely would have been raided if we lost the 2024 election. This is Chuck Grassley and FBI Director Kash Patel moments ago.
Central American gangs like MS-13. Now, well, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics.
Yep.
I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's elector case against then citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations.
Organizations like Turning Point USA. Couple of thoughts. Chuck Grassley is way too old to be doing this. Just honestly, like, why? And I love y'all. I mean this with the best intentions. Why do we have so many senior citizens at the highest levels of our government? Why? Like, how long is Chuck Grassley going to stay in office? And I appreciate the work he did, but dude, don't you want to go spend time with your kids and your grandkids? Like, why are you still doing this? That's honestly, that was my first, my gut reaction to hearing Chuck Grassley unveil all this. Dude, you are so old, retire. There's so many people in politics like that. It's not just Chuck Grassley. They're clinging on by their fingernails to power. And it frustrates me. It does. Secondly, the Arctic Frost stuff, it's like, oh, you mean all the stuff we thought was happening? Yeah, it turns out it was.
Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus.
And there will be people out there today that will say Antifa is just an idea, and that we shouldn't investigate these left-wing groups that are funding this radical ideology. Yet these same individuals who will scream and hand-wring about that were targeting Turning Point USA while I was working there, mind you, and everybody in the office knew that this kind of stuff was going on. We just didn't have the details to prove it. We all joked, if we don't win this election, we're getting raided by the FBI. I told my mother and father-in-law, I was like, just a heads up. Just a heads up. If I ever get raided by the FBI, just know I didn't do anything wrong. Because we all knew what the reality of what we were doing and what the consequences of that could be because of the weaponization of government that we saw under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. But these new revelations, I mean, while they are a bombshell, everybody kind of knew it. Everybody kind of knew it.
So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. My investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter Navarro was investigated and prosecuted. When FBI agent Thibault found out that Biden's DOJ would prosecute Navarro, he said, "Wow, great." That's a quote, unquote. Through whistleblowers, I've obtained an audio recording of Special Agent Giagardina and Special Agent Sebastian Gardner's delivery of a subpoena to Navarro. I'm making that audio public today.
So all this stuff is going to be released today, and we'll be looking through it and thumbing through it and finding all the relevant information. I think the crazy part is, like, we already assumed all this stuff was happening. Yet, conservative groups never lit any fires, never got a visit paid to them by the Brick Ferry. We're now how many days since Charlie was murdered? 6 days. It feels a lot longer. I keep talking to people. I'm like, man, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. It's like it's only been 6 days, and it's like that just makes it even crazier. It makes it even crazier. Conservative groups didn't do anything to cause violence, to hurt individuals, nothing like that. We knew we were being targeted. And we were always being targeted because of our ideas. Same reason Charlie got targeted. Yet they want President Trump to walk back his comments on the left being violent. And I think that's just such a joke. There was a reporter yesterday. This happened in the Oval Office when they were discussing sending the National Guard to Memphis as President Trump is taking questions. There was a reporter that tried to get Donald Trump to walk back his comments that the radical left is causing most of the political violence in this country, and he didn't walk those comments back at all.
The killing of Melissa Hortman, the attack on Paul Pelosi, the attack on Gabby Giffords, the attack on the Pennsylvania governor's mansion. Why make the case that violence is only on one side? It seems to be taking.
I didn't say it's on one side, but I say the radical left causes tremendous violence, and they seem to do it in a bigger way. But the radical left really is caused a lot of problems for this country. I really think they hate our country. Okay, yeah, please.
And you know the biggest difference, and I'm proud of President Trump for not walking that back, because a lot of people are doing the both sides. Senator Langford out of Oklahoma did both sides. He was talking about white supremacy on CNN. What a joke. We'll play that later in the show. But the big difference is when Melissa Hortman was assassinated, we didn't celebrate, you psychos. We didn't. When Josh Shapiro's mansion was lit on fire, which it's debatable whether or not that was a right-winger, full disclosure. When his mansion was lit on fire, did you see celebratory posts from any conservatives? No. The Paul Pelosi one I'll give you. We thought that was funny. Because everybody thought that was his gay lover. Still up for debate, mind you. Still up for debate. But President Trump not walking those comments back. I thank him for that. But he called it like it is inside the Oval Office. Said this guy who shot Charlie Kirk in the neck was radicalized by the left. You know it, and I know it. There's no getting around it. Came from a good conservative family. I posted a picture on the stream yesterday, and it's from the mother of Tyler Robinson. I wish I still had it at my fingertips, but it doesn't matter. It was on Christmas Day. Was it like 13 years ago? It was like 2012, 2013. And she said, wow, we're not even going to see Tyler anymore because of all of his new Christmas gifts. And it's a picture of him with his headphones on and staring at a computer screen. Like, where do you think the leftists radicalized him? Started on the internet, ended at the universities. Don't give your kids unfettered access to the internet. We all know the ideology that radicalized the shooter.
Wonderful neighbor, smart guy, great boards, great marks, great student. And then something happened to him over a fairly short period of time. Looks like he was radicalized over the internet, and it's radicalized on the left. He's a left. I have a lot of problems with the left, and they get protected.
Yep.
And they shouldn't be protected. But as you understand, I think very well from the tone of your question. Thank you very much.
He got radicalized on the left. Yep. Everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. It's a dangerous ideology. There's no getting around it. Dwayne in Nashville, you're on the line. What's up, Dwayne?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. What do you got?
I'm just saying, I see a big contradiction with everything that's going on. I'm in the middle. I used to be right, but I don't agree with anything. You know, Trump came in and said he was going to stop the wars, and he started 7. It's been chaotic since he's got in there.
What 7 wars? Which 7 wars did he start?
Stuff with Venezuela. He's naming everybody he don't like an anti-terror organization.
Okay. No, hold on. Hey, buddy. Dwayne, I want to have a conversation with you, man. I don't want to shout over each other.
Okay.
And I want to hear you out. So you brought up Venezuela. You're obviously going to highlight the bombing of Iran. What are the other 5 wars that he started?
Well, he made Pete Hegseth the Secretary of War.
That's not the question. You said that Trump started 7 wars.
Yeah, well, that's just showing you he's got to have a war going on at all times.
We can't
exactly 7.
Okay,
if you're allowed to be happy if someone dies. You're allowed to be happy if someone dies, and for you people to try to stop. All you do is criticize left and right. That's all you do is talk about something that really matters. People are being happy that he got shot, even though we don't like it. I mean, dude, it's part of free speech. If Jasmine Crockett got hit by a bus, I'd be happy. I'm telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth. You have to be biased on both sides.
I honestly don't think if Jasmine Crockett got hit by a bus,
I'd be delighted. I would be delighted. She's useless. She doesn't. She's
I think that's sick.
Well,
I think that's sick.
Well, I'm sick. It's sick to keep on doing what you guys are doing and making everything the right does. You say it's okay.
Is that so? Is that so?
No, at first, Chris, I think they got to you because at first, Pam Bondi made a big mistake about the Epstein files. You criticized her so bad, like the 3rd day, and I was loving it. And now you've done fully flip-flopped. Are you supported by AIPAC?
Oh, okay, here we go. I actually have Pam Bondi in my stack today, and I'm going to criticize her for going after free speech.
Good.
And I don't know if you listened to the whole show. I was just criticizing Chuck Grassley.
If someone's happy. Charlie Kirk got shot. That's free speech, brother. That's free speech. Even though we don't like it, I don't like it. I like Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. I love them. But you can't keep
Are you going to let me talk? Are you going to let me talk? Can I present any counterpoints to you? Or are you just going to scream over me the whole time?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Like, by all means, man. Like, I'm fine with people having different opinions, but let me talk. I just criticized Chuck Grassley for being too old and hanging on to power. I've criticized Donald Trump in the past. I've criticized Pam Bondi. I'm going to criticize her today. That is categorically false that I don't criticize Republicans. You don't listen to the show if you don't think I criticize Republicans.
The show's on my radio 24/7. I can tell you what you ate yesterday. Just go ahead.
You can tell me what I ate yesterday.
This is my life. But I'm just saying, you are doing the same thing the left did before you all are left in the right version. There's no middle. There's no people that have any common sense that really realize the left and the right are both corrupt.
How am I doing what the left did?
Go ahead. Because all you do is you praise everything. You don't agree with anything that could go against the narrative of what the Republicans are pushing. If anything outside of Donald Trump is best for this country, you don't even look for it. Even though he's been a billionaire his whole life, he's been with Netanyahu before they even got elected. You know he's done some okay, he's got good ideas. He got the trannies out. He did that. But there's someone with some morality like Thomas Massey. There's people that are good people that can actually run this country.
Thomas Massey, the guy who criticizes Trump every chance he gets, but stayed so quiet. He stayed so quiet during the Biden administration. That guy?
I think he had a voice during the Biden administration. I think now people are actually talking to him.
Did he?
I mean, he's a Republican. Just because you don't like Trump doesn't make you not Republican, bro.
When did I say that? When did I say that? When did I say that?
So, no, there's Trumpers out there you can't even have a conversation with, just like the same people that I would talk to try to tell them, look, Kamala ain't doing it. Like, they're so blinded, and I think these are people that got to go to work every day and don't have no time to look outside the box, man. And I don't know. I just think it's pitiful. You guys talk about free speech, but you can't be mad at people for being that dude got shot. I mean, well, it may be morally sucked, but the facts and the truth and the law, and you can be happy about anything. It's free speech.
Nobody's going to jail for it, dude. Nobody's going to jail for it.
They're getting criticized. I've seen 10 NFL stadiums or 4 NFL stadiums didn't give Charlie a moment of silence, and now they're facing backlash.
Oh, so you're going to come at me for that? I didn't even bring that up.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't even watch the NFL. I don't.
You are attacking people who are happy.
Who am I attacking? Who am I attacking?
All day, the left. All day, that's all you talk about is the left.
People that celebrate political murder are evil.
Right.
And
so Trump blowing up 7 fishermen in a boat in Venezuela. It's not political violence.
Dog, do you want to talk about the people in the boat? You want to talk about Venezuela? Man, I got that lined up too. You know what? Okay. When you want to say, the poor narco terrorists, Dwayne, oh my gosh, will somebody have a heart for the narco terrorists?
Look at we don't even know who they were. It could have been John and his dad.
Dog, I've had so many friends die from overdoses, and I've heard their mothers cry. How dare you? You think I'm going to care about a narco terrorist, Dwayne?
They were narco terrorists.
Dwayne, you are so salty and so black-pilled. You are so salty and so black-pilled. You need to find Jesus. You need some more religion in your life, Dwayne.
And you know who doesn't love Jesus? Israel. Israel doesn't love Jesus. I love Jesus.
You are so consumed by Israel. Israel! It's always the Jews. Is that what we're doing?
I will put up $1,000 cash. You have a debate with me on this.
Go for it.
I'll donate it. I'll donate it to AIPAC if you have a debate with me.
I'm not even the most pro-Israel host on the station.
But you're the most anti-anything against the right. And maybe that's how you got to keep your job, brother. Maybe that's how you keep your job, but you're not a real truth teller. And I just hope everybody that listens to you understands. Look outside the box, everybody. This is bullshit.
Oh, great. Now you're swearing. You really know how to drive a point home, Dwayne. And then you hang up. Where's the evidence that Israel did it? I'll wait. I'm open to it. Dwayne, you need to get some help. It's 1026, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends over at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smell stains or just plain old bad tasting water at the house or at the office, these are the guys you need to call. Think of it like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, under your sink, or even for your whole business. And they handle everything. You can have some nasty stuff in your water: sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. And if you got that stuff, well, they got a bunch of options for you. Reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. If you're not sure if you have that stuff in your water, you know that Better Water will test your water for free. And again, if you have the nasty stuff, they'll get it cleaned up quick. They're a local company based right out of Smyrna. They serve all of Middle Tennessee, and you probably already tasted their work. They actually serve all the local coffee shops around town and even the hospitals. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or find them online, betterwater.com. $10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Real quick, just for Dwayne, who just called in. I got a lot of people waiting on the line that want to comment on it. We'll get to your calls after the news with Ken Weaver. Or Joan Jones, sorry. But Dwayne was like, what about the Venezuelans? What about the narco terrorists? You know, it's funny. I actually had this lined up in the stack, and I didn't expect to use it for a black-pilled conservative. I expected to use it for the Democrats who think that we shouldn't go after narco terrorists. Have you ever heard what a mother's scream sounds like when she finds out her son overdosed on fentanyl? Well, I'll play it for you. It sounds like this. Dwayne wants me to feel for narco terrorists who are pumping our country full of fentanyl. No. Nope. I will not. I will not. It kills hundreds of thousands of Americans every year. And Dwayne wants me to feel bad for the narco terrorists. A lot of people were like, Dwayne's a Democrat. I don't know if Dwayne's a Democrat. I think Dwayne sounds a lot more like a black-pilled conservative than a Democrat. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but I think that's what we're witnessing there. And I feel for Dwayne. I'll pray for you, brother. We'll take your calls on this on the way. It's 10:31, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A New York judge has dismissed 2 state murder charges brought against Luigi Mangione in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The most severe charge, first-degree murder, accusing Mangione of murder as a crime of terrorism. That was dropped, the judge saying that the evidence presented to the grand jury was insufficient to support the charge. The judge also dropping a similar second-degree murder charge. There is another second-degree murder charge that does stay. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty to that one. And Fox News reporter Eric Shawn says there's more.
The defense also objects to entering Mangione's notebook into evidence. Prosecutors say that notebook does contain writing that details his plan to kill Thompson, that he targeted him to make headlines because of the abuses of the healthcare industry.
Now, that issue to be determined separately. This was Mangione's first court appearance in New York court. A Democrat state lawmaker is claiming 80,000 Davidson County voters have been scrubbed from the voter rolls. Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
It's all because of a redistricting cleanup. The elections office has to mail out notices to people letting them know their voting place has changed, and they can be purged if they don't respond in time.
To check your registration status, visit the Davidson County Election Commission. I've also got a link up on my X account. You can look me up at Joan Jones, WTN. And the Georgia Supreme Court has permanently disqualified Fulton County DA Fani Willis from prosecuting President Trump and his allies over the 2020 presidential election. The court citing an appearance of impropriety created by her romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, whom she had hired to lead that case. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. When it comes to these home repairs, especially waterproofing, it's really easy to ignore the warning signs and just pretend that you don't have an issue. Yeah, it's just a little water in the basement, damp walls after it rains. You hope it'll go away, and sure it does. It'll dry up. But when the rain comes back, so does the issue, and these small problems are never going to stay small. The good news is that United Structural Systems wants to give you some peace of mind, and they've done that already for over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. They're not showing up and pressuring you for a sale. They're going to show up with an expert. Not a guy worried about a quota, a guy worried about the waterproofing and your foundation repair. This is the way to go. Whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, talk to USS. They stand behind their work with warranties you can trust, locally owned. That's how they stayed in the game for 30 years. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, ussTN.com.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
1037, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Why on earth would we need those?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
BetterWater.com. That's a reason.
Oh, yeah.
That's a reason. Did you mean to hit that one? It was timed. Nice.
Nope, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think it fits.
A lot of people want to talk about Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're waiting.
Dude, the phone lines are full.
I don't know what got into Dwayne.
I don't either.
I like having conversations.
I do too.
Somebody tweeted like, wow, you handled that caller well. I hope they call into Matt Murphy's show. And then Murphy said, I missed it. What? So I wrote back, I work for the Jews.
I got 2 jobs.
And I did it with 2 O's. Nice. It's funnier. Let's go to Adam in Columbia. What's up, Adam?
Hey, Chris. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Great. I was calling in response to Dwayne's call, and my take on it's probably going to be a little bit different. But, one of the things that Charlie preached was that this is a Christian nation. The United States was founded on Christianity. And probably one of the toughest verses in the Bible that I find that I see people having trouble following is to turn the other cheek. And when you're talking with a Dwayne, when you're talking with someone that supported the death of Charlie Kirk, it's hard to turn the other cheek, but we have to. We have to as a nation. We have to as Christians, because they're trying to bait us. They're trying to bring us down to their level instead of us trying to come up to theirs. I don't know if you can hear the emotion in my voice. I guess probably the biggest thing is that one day these folks will figure out that they are wrong. Unfortunately, for some of them, it will be too late whenever they get to their eternal home. So it's on us now to do the work that Charlie left for us.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man, and I appreciate the call, Adam. Thanks so much. I mean, listen, I get turning the other cheek, and to be perfectly honest with you, I was ready to criticize Pam Bondi on the way, going after, she had these stupid comments about hate speech, and it's like, hey, lady, hate speech is protected. It's just free speech. It's just what it is. But I don't criticize Republicans enough for our friend Dwayne. And a lot of people on the text line are like, Dwayne's a Democrat. Dwayne's an Antifa member. And I don't hear that. I don't. I really don't. What Dwayne sounds like to me is a black-pilled conservative who is just so tired and pissed that nothing ever happens. And I understand that feeling. We all feel it. But I don't think he's like a leftist by any stretch of the imagination. Carl in the borough, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Carl?
Hey, man, great show. I wasn't going to call today, but I just wanted to comment about Dwayne, and I appreciate him calling in. But, this whole same argument about what about free speech, every time I've seen that, I said, well, they had the right to say what they wanted to. But this isn't Congress. It isn't the First Amendment. It's called a business. And unless he has worked at a business, you're bringing shame to that company. And even if you are a drunk every night and you're causing havoc downtown Murfreesboro, believe me, that boss is going to find out, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, you either clean your act up or you're gone.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Congress or free speech. It's just called ethical. It's a matter of, you don't do that in America. That Charlie Kirk was worse than murder, assassinated. And these people are oblivious. And I think they've got a corrupt heart. They've got wickedness. They're uncivilized. And, I do pray every day to keep hate out of my heart. And in all honesty, they do need Jesus. They
Amen.
need to humble themselves.
We all do.
That's
We
the
all
only
do.
way.
We all do.
Hey, y'all carry on, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate the call. Let's go to Ken in Nashville. What's up, Ken?
Well, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. What's up?
Well, apparently, no one's read the Constitution or they understand that the First Amendment and free speech was so we could redress our grievances with the government. That's what it says. It's very plain. Maybe Dwayne needs to take a reading course. I'm not sure, but I'm serious. I mean, because it's plain what it's for. It's not so you can celebrate someone's death or you can advocate some evil act, or you can side with someone. It's a very simple thing, and that's the only reason we have free speech, and according to the Constitution, is so we can, and we have plenty of grievances to address the government with. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of complaints about the government too, but
yeah.
But it should be done in a civil way, he was very uncivil. I mean, he didn't give you a chance to even. I mean, he stands for everything that Charlie was against.
Yep.
Just about. I mean,
and my big thing is when you come on the air and you're like, Trump started 7 wars. And it's like, okay, which wars?
He never could answer that. He never answered it.
I mean,
my grandson he died because of overdose. I mean, you think we should? What does he want us to do? He wants us to support drug dealers? Is that what Dwayne wants?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. And I appreciate the call, Ken. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to hear about your grandson. My heart goes out to you. I know too many people that we've lost to this. And so, yeah, I don't have any problem with Donald Trump taking out Venezuelan drug traffickers. Does anybody really have a problem with that? Oh, the poor narco fishermen. Okay, all right. Dan in Spring Hill, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man, thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely. What do you got?
Man, I fully support the administration taking on the narcos and sinking the boats and everything, but I think we do need to be careful not to celebrate their death. Celebrate the fact that we prevented these drugs from coming into the country, but I think we're tiptoeing on being hypocritical to celebrate their death at the same time telling other people not to celebrate Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah, but I think the difference is that I didn't come on the air and go, "Woo, we got some more narco terrorists. We blew them up. That's awesome." I just support the operation.
I'm not accusing you of doing that. I'm just saying in general. I think all life is sacred to Jesus, and he was saddened by their deaths, as necessary as it seemed to be able to keep those drugs from coming to our country.
My thing is, we got to take care of Americans first. Would you rather have 6 dead narco terrorists, or would you rather have
terrorists?
Yeah, and we have to send a message. We have to send a very strong message.
For sure. My only thing is careful of not celebrating the death of people.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, and I appreciate the call, Dan. This is the president earlier this morning on those narco terrorists and Nicolas Maduro.
Right away, stop sending Tren de Aragua into the United States. Stop sending drugs into the United States. We knocked off actually 3 boats, not 2, but you saw 2. And the problem is there are very few boats out in the water. There are not a lot of boats out in the water. I can't imagine why. Not even fishing boats. There's nobody. Nobody wants to go take a fish. So it's one of those things. But I would say to him very strongly, stop sending people from your prisons into our country. They're sending their prisoners. They've done that already.
President Trump is just being a strong leader, decisive. We took out 3 boats, actually. I'm a fan of this operation. I agree with Dan, who just called a moment ago. I'm not celebrating death. I'm not celebrating murder. But I think that those individuals could have caused a lot more harm than what the president did. I'm not going to be able to do that again. That's a good thing. And other narco terrorists, they're going to think twice before they get on a boat loaded with fentanyl headed towards the United States. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let's go to Jack in Dixon. What's up, Jack?
Hey, man. I was just going to say, I listen to your show quite a bit, and I've heard you criticize plenty of people on both sides of the aisle there. And I'm kind of young. I mean, I'm 28, almost 29, and I've had several friends die from fentanyl. And as a kid, I feel like that was a huge thing they pushed on my generation was pills.
Yep.
And they wanted everybody to have an ADHD medication.
Yep.
Something with ADHD I got to doing some research, and the ADHD medication is 1 molecule away from methamphetamine.
Yeah. Yep.
It's disgusting, And so I think that what Dwayne said was just absolutely crazy and just stupid. I mean, I guess he must be brainwashed, and I'm not blaming him by any means because, you know, a lot of people are. We can't trust the government right now. We just can't. I mean, it is what it is. That's just what our life has came to. And so I'm not blaming him, but everything that I've seen President Trump say, he's doing. I mean, he might not do it on the timeline that we're needing, but he's doing it. You know, I mean, it's coming regardless. If he said it, believe it, it's coming.
Yeah.
So I think he just needs to have a little bit more faith, and maybe he needs to sit down and go to the altar a couple more times and pray to God and figure out himself, because wishing death upon people, especially our president, is absolutely disgusting.
Absolutely.
I pray for him.
Hey,
I definitely pray for him.
And me too, man. And I appreciate the call, Jack. I would just say, like, just disconnect for a while. Go touch grass. Get in the woods. Get away from the internet. Get away from the TV. Take a month off. See how you feel. Let's go to John in Franklin. What's up, John?
Hey, I'm just learning about Charlie Kirk from the news, and I'm sorry that I didn't know about him before. I'm horrified, mortified about what's happened. But I wanted to talk to you about Dwayne's call and maybe give you some perspective that hopefully I don't respond with the same kind of excitement that he did.
All right, hit me.
I'm a Republican. Not a right-wing Republican, as I would say. There are other words for that are maybe disparaging. But what I think you focus on your radio show and what the left focuses on their radio and TV shows, and I don't listen to the left, but I listen to you and yours to find out what my people are saying or the people with whom I identify are saying, and all we focus on is the worst of the worst. To point out I think it was an ABC radio station in the Northeast.
TV station, yep.
And I didn't see or hear that story, but why do I need to know about that and get riled up about that? Because the worst of the worst on that side are saying and doing those things.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's important. Please. I think it's important to combat the narratives of the left, and when somebody peacefully expresses their grief and their sadness over what happens, and a news station suspends her for that. She didn't say anything vile. She didn't say anything hateful, and they suspend her for that. Yeah, I think we need to highlight that. Well, but you're also vilifying them and making them less human. You're dehumanizing them, and that's part of the problem we've had. I don't think you would have ever heard Charlie Kirk do that. That's what I'm trying to understand and trying to learn. I'm trying to understand: are we serving him now? Serving him now? I would disagree. I would disagree. I think that he would call out the left for that. I think that he would highlight the stories that the mainstream media won't highlight. And I think it's important to highlight those random stories, because otherwise you're never going to hear about it. You're never going to find that story. And I think that's part of my job here, is to highlight those instances that are just ridiculous and should have never happened. That lady should have never been suspended for giving a heartfelt tribute to her former boss and mentor. She shouldn't have. And I thought it was important to highlight how she stood on business and resigned instead of bending the knee, serving her suspension, and returning to a workplace that didn't value her enough to keep her around when she was hurting. I think that's an important story.
Who was the business that didn't value her enough and didn't keep her around?
Sinclair Broadcasting.
Are they bad people?
If you're going to suspend somebody over a heartfelt tribute to Charlie Kirk, yeah, I think that's bad.
Well, there's business. The other gentleman just a moment ago talked about business, if you're hurting my business. But I'm just saying, vilifying people is part of your message at this point. And I'm not arguing. I'm just offering. I wanted you to, because I listen when I can. It's on my car radio all the time. I'm not in the car, but an hour a day at random times.
Yeah, I get it.
But when I hear things on your show and the other shows, there's one at the 3 o'clock hour that's not as direct as you, that says both sides. But I could hear the exact same words that you share and say and repeat if I was listening to something on the far left side. It's said the same way. It's said in the same tone. It's filled with the same disgust and hate. And I can't tell whether it's a right or left person about whom you're speaking, except I know what channel you're on. And I would like to challenge you and your listeners to listen to a random show of yours and see how many times something is said that really, really, really was or could have been or will be said, exactly by the left about us. It's the 10% that are causing all this grief and strife, and Dwayne was not in that 10% on either side. I also want to say I really get upset and concerned about when religion comes into this. When you mentioned that Dwayne needed to get some religion. I don't know where your religion is, but you're not my church with the vilification that you make of other people. I don't think Charlie would do it from what I'm learning, and I certainly don't know the head of your church should be doing that. Thank you for listening to me. I'll listen now if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just disagree with you. I don't know how to say it any more plainly. I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate your perspective. I try to highlight the stories that the mainstream media won't. And yes, I do get angry from time to time. The difference, though, with my station is this is opinion driven, and it's labeled in the branding. This is an opinion station. The problem is the problem is when mainstream media presents opinion as fact, and we have to combat those narratives. We have to.
See, that's where I'm arguing that you do the same thing and you don't hear it, and that's all I'm offering is listen to both sides.
Like I said, it's in the branding, information fueled, opinion driven. It's been in the branding for decades. It's baked in the cake.
I'll try to consider that. All right. I thank you so much for taking my call and be willing to talk. I think Charlie would have said that was a good thing. Appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you listening, John. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. It's 10:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. You know I love the Second Amendment, and I don't just own guns. I carry them. I do. Just a heads up, I carry them. But here's the truth. Owning and carrying isn't going to be enough. That's not going to cover you. You have to train. So when I train at the Glock store because real training isn't standing in a lane punching paper targets over and over. You could do that thousands of times and never actually be ready. So that's where the Glock store comes in. The Shoot 270 indoor ranges are next level. These guys have real training rooms, not just lanes. You're working with professional instructors with decades of experience, running drills on multiple targets, doing things like learning how to clear a room in the dark. You can practice drawing from concealment until it becomes second nature. This is where you need to train. Owning a gun is a right, but knowing how to use it under pressure, that's a responsibility. Glock store is making it simple. All you got to do is go to shoot270.com and book your appointment today, and you're ready to train. Guys, I would suggest that you do this for yourselves. I would suggest that you do this for your wives. And if your kids are old enough, shoot270.com. Book your appointment and get ready to train. The Shoot 270 indoor range is only at the Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Luigi Mangione in court. And drivers, right quick, we've got a crash in Brentwood, blocking the right shoulder, 65 northbound. Top stories coming up in 1 minute on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Looking forward to the headlines with Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Got a question for you. Can you be a Democrat and a Christian? I saw this video going viral last night. Lifelong Democrat since 18 years old, law enforcement officer, leaving the Democrat Party after the left's involvement and reaction to the Charlie Kirk assassination. So I'd ask you, can you be a Christian and a Democrat? I wish I had asked this to the last caller we had, who was very polite, very polite. He said, I don't subscribe to your church. Oh, which church do you subscribe to? I think it's an interesting conversation. I want to have it with you next. 615-737-9986 is 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. A judge has dismissed terrorism charges against the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione appearing in court today, where the judge dismissed the 2 counts of murder as a crime of terrorism, but the rest of the indictment remains. He still will be tried in state court on a charge of intentional murder. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky is in Lower Manhattan.
Judge Gregory Caro said that the prosecutors presented sufficient evidence that the defendant murdered United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in a premeditated and calculated execution. But the judge said that does not mean the defendant did so with terroristic intent. So Luigi Mangione is still going to face second-degree murder charges that could get him life in prison.
And he's going to be back in court on December 1st. Meanwhile, outside Air Force One, President Trump taking questions from reporters this morning about TikTok.
We have a deal on TikTok. I've reached a deal with China. I'm going to speak to President Xi on Friday to confirm everything up. We made a very good trade deal, and I hope good for both countries. But a very different deal than they've made in the past.
Yeah, details to be released at some point this week. Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel kicking off 2 days of congressional testimony. He was on today, or rather before the Senate Judiciary Committee today. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The FBI director came under sharp questioning from Senate Democrats about recent firings at the FBI.
I'm not going to get into personnel decisions that we made.
Kash Patel got into a heated back and forth with the Judiciary Committee's ranking member Dick Durbin, who suggested recent dismissals at the Bureau have been influenced by right-wing podcasters.
You providing a one-sided story from your perch is absolutely disgraceful because the men and women of the FBI deserve better.
Urging his critics to, quote, bring it on, Patel insisted he's not going anywhere. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Actor Robert Redford has died at the age of 89, known for his work both in front of and behind the camera as a director.
Robert Redford got his start on Broadway with a single line in Tall Story. TV roles would follow, including a 1960 episode of Perry Mason.
And we carried her into the ladies' lounge so that she could lie.
Movie roles were next, with Redford playing opposite Paul Newman in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Would you make a jump like that? You didn't have to? I have to, and I'm not gonna. Well, we got
Redford's first attempt at directing earned him an Academy Award for 1980's Ordinary People, before his foray into political activism. Robert Redford died at home in Sundance, Utah at 89. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got a couple people waiting on the line, and then we want to change the topic to the question that I posed earlier. Can you be a Democrat and a Christian? It's an interesting question. 615-737-9986 if you want to answer that. I'll play some audio for you, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But real quick, Mike in Portland's been waiting for a minute. What's up, Mike?
Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Considering with Charlie Kirk and these individuals who are losing their jobs over social media posts celebrating his death, I personally think it's disgusting. So I saw a post on X, and, one such person was celebrating, and I asked, do you think a business has the right to via firing, reprimand, distance themselves from their employees' statements on social media that they find would be harmful to the brand?
Yeah. And what they say?
No reply.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, listen, you have free speech in this country. Absolutely. You don't have freedom from consequences if you're saying vile and disgusting things and the company doesn't want you there anymore.
Right. And I asked the question, I would expect the same treatment from someone that would post a disgusting statement about George Floyd. I mean, the rules work both ways.
I mean, I would say that it depends on what the statement is. Because I would say that the rioting and burning down of cities across America because a career criminal overdosed on fentanyl, that's a factual statement that's what happened. But many individuals would consider that to be hateful.
Hateful, but at my point would be the business has to decide at that point. But do
you think that statement's hateful?
No, I particularly don't. However, I think if an employer were to fire you for that, then it's the job of people like you who have a voice to educate the consumer that that's why this person was fired from the company. Then let the free market decide if they want to continue with that company.
Yep. No, that makes total sense, man. And I appreciate the call. Let's go to Anthony in Nashville. What's up, Anthony?
How's it going, Chris?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm well. I actually was surprised that I even had my call picked up because I've called in the stations before, so this is kind of a first for me.
Perfect. Let's go, man. What do you got?
So I was gonna talk more about just kind of like our nation and Charlie Kirk, but I kind of did want to tackle the question you just posed with the Christian and Democrat thing, because I've thought about that for years. I'm in my 30s, and I've been a believer, I guess, since I was like 14. So I think it's difficult. I mean, especially because of what Democrats have kind of been labeled as, in recent years. And just the viewpoints that they hold, it is really confusing to have to kind of have that tension,
The mental gymnastics, if you will.
Right. It's like, can I believe everything these people stand for in 2025? Like they may have been different 25 years ago, but realistically now, where I'm standing in 2025, can I day in, day out believe everything they say and still also stand on the precepts of Jesus Christ? So it is. I think it's a challenge, and I think you can't say, straight out, the first thing comes to your mind, yes or no. Like,
do you consider yourself like where do you fall on the political spectrum?
I definitely consider myself conservative for sure. I mean, I definitely consider myself someone who's a patriot that believes the Constitution still rings true nowadays. I believe that everyone has the equality of life. That just because a life is in a womb doesn't make it any less than a life that's outside the womb. So I guess I would probably be called a Republican, but I mean, when I voted for Trump, it wasn't because he was Republican. It was because his viewpoints and his heart made the most sense.
Yep.
That's what it came down to, and it was the thought of, okay, if I choose this man as our next president, will it make sense and will it be the best move for our country, or will it not?
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to go about it. I appreciate the call, Anthony. I had posed the question, can you be a Democrat and a Christian? Because, we had revival over the weekend, massive revival. And there was a lot of conversation online about pastors that didn't bring up Charlie Kirk. And you have one of the most crowded days at your church that's not Easter or Christmas ever. And you don't bring up why people showed up. And they were drawn to the church this weekend because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. And I also brought it up because I see this video that's going viral. Lifelong Democrat since he was 18, Dion Joseph, and he's announcing that he's departing the Democrat Party after the left's involvement and reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination. And it seems like he's having a tough time grappling with this. But he said at the end of the day, I can't allow my party go against my faith, so he had to leave the Democrat Party. I'm going to play you some of this right now. It's a longer video, about 10 minutes long, and it's all over the internet. I'm going to play about 2 minutes of it. Let's start.
I've been sitting in my car for the last hour or so, just trying to process the last couple of days, and forgive me if I don't have the energy. It has been really troubling. I just came here to announce my official divorce from the Democratic Party. And you're talking to a guy who's been voted Democrat since I was 18 years old. Up until recently, I've been changing how I vote, but still carrying the label, I'm the type of guy who doesn't jump ship. I try to be the voice of reason within the ship to try to steer it back to a true north. But this party has lost its way. The Democratic Party, let's be honest, has become demonic and barbaric. And I, as a Christian, can't be a part of that anymore.
So I'd ask you the same question. And I'm especially curious when it comes to Democrats, liberals, or recovering Democrats and liberals. Can you be a Democrat and a Christian? 615-737-9986.
Look, I'm a proud and beautiful black man. I love being black. I love my skin, everything that comes with it. I was a proud Democrat. I remember they used to stand for the right thing. But before I'm beautifully black, before I am a member of any party, I'm a born-again Christian. I'm a born-again Christian, and the Democratic Party right now doesn't represent my values, my ethics, and I can't support the barbarism and the divisiveness that they've been engaged in. I mean, we could run down the list, guys. As recently as yesterday, because of the rhetoric that the Democratic Party has been spewing for the last 10 years or so, has been so extreme and so just over the top. That rhetoric resulted in a man who was professing his love to Jesus to strangers and have an open and civil dialogue, something we all should celebrate. I don't care whether you agree with his opinions or not. His opinions weren't coming from an evil place. He just wanted to talk.
Facts. So I'd ask you, I mean, it does feel like we're at a turning point in the country, right? No pun intended, but it feels like we're there. If you're a Christian, one of the big topics that we had in the 2024 election was Christians need to get motivated to vote. And a lot of Christians weren't. But today, can you be a Democrat and can you be a Christian? Let's go to Brad in Nashville. What's up, Brad?
Hey, Chris. Appreciate you taking my call. Yeah, I was raised Democrat in a union household where we voted D across the line. And then I started learning what Democrats stood for and understanding that they promoted abortion. Mm-hmm. And being a Christian, I don't believe you can be a Democrat. They support, last-term abortion. And you can't do that. That's murder. And whenever I started having that shoved down my throat as this is okay, this is right, but you read in the Bible that you're not supposed to murder.
So what would you say to the Christians that are? What would you say to the Christians that are out there? Like I distinctly remember, Joe Biden at a pro-choice event, and he did the sign of the cross, and he proclaims to be a Christian, and many do. What would you say to those Christians who are claiming to be Christian, but they're voting completely opposite of what the Bible would tell them?
I would ask them who they have faith in. Do they have faith in God, or do they have faith in man? And if they're voting that way, then they obviously have more faith in man than they do in God. And I'll pray for them whenever they need him.
Hey, I like the answer, Brad, and I'll pray for them as well. Let's go to Brian on the road. Same question, Brian. Can you be a Democrat and a Christian?
I'll quote Jennifer O'Neill on Pastor Alan Jackson's podcast. For the life of me, I can't understand pro-choice if you want to be a Christian. There's no way you can be a Democrat, support their platform, which has abortion in it, I think, or pro-choice anyway. And the trans, it's almost like anything goes. And listen, Jesus was liberal on a lot of things: love, forgiveness, mercy. Thank God. Thank you, Lord, for being that way. But you can't, just like that last caller said, man, the defining answer to your question is you can't be okay with abortion. It's murder. And be a Democrat. I'm sorry. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm like you and Matt. I'm kind of into, I'm a libertarian with a small L. Don't put me in a group. But I am in the group of Christianity, and I'm proud of it. And I don't mean to be weird about it, but Charlie Kirk didn't do anything wrong. He deserves to be here, but the Lord wanted him home. So we have to reconcile with that, too. And I love what you're doing, bro. I love your stance. I told you yesterday, you're my Charlie Kirk, because I didn't know him. I didn't listen to him. But I appreciate your truth. That's your truth, bro. Don't back down.
Hey, I appreciate you, Brian. 615-737-9986. You want to join the conversation? Danny in Springfield. Same question, same topic. What do you got?
Hey, how are you? I would just like to remind everyone that this country was founded because of religious persecution. People fled England and they came to the New England area, and they started the United States of America, and what a glorious thing we have because of it. Now, I would also like to point out to everyone, and especially Democrats who claim they are Christians, that President Biden, during COVID, had the FBI go and raid churches that were having outdoor services during COVID, okay?
Yep.
Now, if that's not religious persecution, I don't know what it is. Not only did they do that, Democrats supported it, including the DNC. And they made it part of their platform, that they feel like they did the right thing. So if that's what you support, you're against America, in my opinion. And Christianity is a big foundation of what built this country. And, I think it's getting stepped on. And I think we got to stand up and speak out. And if you don't think you got to stand up and speak out, you got to look what's happening in other parts of the world.
Yep. You're absolutely right, Danny. I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. Kash Patel is at an oversight committee hearing right now, and he was actually just talking about the anti-Catholic bias in some investigations ongoing currently. And he mentioned a couple of cities, maybe you've heard of them: Kansas, Louisville, Houston, Richmond, and Nashville.
We have 60 anti-Catholic hate crime incidences reported to us that are being investigated. Publicly, I can tell you we have 5 hate crime investigations with anti-Catholic bias ongoing currently in the in the cities of Kansas City, Louisville, Houston, Nashville, and Richmond. That's what I can say publicly. But any ideologically based attack against any faith, as a man of faith myself, will not be tolerated, and the full resources of the FBI are committed to all of it.
But it seems like for quite a few years, we had the opposite, the full weight of the FBI going at faith groups. And I just wonder where Democrats, how or when they're going to reconcile with that. If they're Christian, if they claim to be Christian. There are churches in the Northeast. There are churches on the West Coast. So how are you voting blue no matter who and still proclaiming to follow Jesus? It just doesn't track with me. It doesn't. 615-737-9986. We'll get to more of your calls on the way. Got a lot of people waiting on the line. Bruce, Gary, Nathan, Misty, Sharon. Hang on, guys. We'll get to all these calls next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And how would you like to get back to a pain-free life? I'm sure you'd be willing to spend any amount of money to just go through your day without pain. Any amount. How about $12? Does $12 sound good? Because that's what they're doing right now at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. $12 is going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. Only $12. It's true. It's true. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley aren't going to give up on ridding your life of pain. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you're not going to find? Surgery, injections, drugs, painkillers, none of that. But you will want to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. So many people say, why didn't I come here first? Don't let that be what you tell Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley. Go there first. Go there today. Give them a call, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or visit them online, painisbad.com.
FBI Director Kash Patel just provided an update on the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. We'll let you hear that more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, looking forward to those headlines with Ken Weaver on the way. It is 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Get your water filters at betterwater.com. A lot of people on the phone lines want to weigh in on the question, can you be a Democrat and a Christian? Listen, if you're a Democrat and a Christian, you'll go to the front of the line. And we're not going to yell. I'm just curious. Let's go to Sharon in the borough. What's up, Sharon? How are you?
Hey, Chris. Great show today. Okay, so I grew up in a sort of dead denomination, and I've never been a Democrat, but I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm just an independent.
Okay.
I don't know how in the world anybody could still be a Democrat today and be really safe, because John 3:3 says you must be born again. And being born again means you have discernment and wisdom. You have the Holy Spirit. You have the oil in you. And how can you have that and still be blind to the Democrat Party and what they're up to? Because going to church doesn't make you saved. Getting dunked in water, sprinkled, does not make you saved. It is a heart issue. It is a fire, the oil that we're supposed to have. I mean, a lot of people go to church the church is supposed to be the people, not the building or the service.
Yep. Amen.
But you know what I mean? A lot of people go and sit on the pews that are not only on fire, but they don't even have the Holy Spirit. They don't even really understand it all. I'm not saying they shouldn't go, but they need to wake up. I mean, getting the Holy Spirit makes you awake, not woke, but awake.
Amen. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. I got time for one more real quick, and then we'll get to the others on the other side. Let's go to Nathan in Nashville. What's up, Nathan?
Not much. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. What do you got?
So you made a comment earlier that a lot of preachers this Sunday were not preaching about Charlie, and I totally get that. Me and my wife have just started to rebuild our relationship with Jesus and the church over the past year or so. We went this Sunday, and he made a very good point, and something that I think Charlie tried to do as well. In Revelations, it talks about corrupt governments and people throughout our entire life. And the only thing that we can do as people is to band together as Christians and put our faith out there. And I don't think us as a country are doing that very well, and that's why we're starting to see these violent acts start coming around. So to answer your question, no, I don't think any Democrat, period, can call themselves a Christian based off their beliefs, based off what they're preaching, based off the rhetoric that has happened in the past 10 or so years, pushing 32 myself, and I don't understand what has happened to my generation.
I don't either, man. And I'm with. How old are you?
32.
Yeah, I mean we're in the same group, and it just seems like the void that's been left by people leaving Christianity has been filled by radical leftist ideology.
Absolutely.
And it's wild to see, but on the flip side, we are seeing that revival, and that is heartwarming, and that's the silver lining in all of this.
Well, and like his wife put over the past, I believe Friday, like he is definitely wearing that martyr crown, but it's sad the fact that this is what it's taken to start getting that revival. I think it should have been happening a lot sooner for people to feel the Holy Spirit and get out there, but God has a plan, right?
Yeah, and he won't waste your pain. That's been my motto the past few days, and I appreciate the call. I always go back to, with the Charlie stuff, I'm going back to Psalm 116:15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. And that one really hits home these past few days. We'll take more of your calls on the way. Ken Weaver is loaded up with some fire headlines. He's going to bring them to you right now on Super Talk.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast in 5 minutes, and right now in our nation's capital, before the Senate Judiciary Committee, FBI Director Kash Patel provided an update on the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
Having been criticized for initially suggesting Charlie Kirk's shooter was in custody when he wasn't, the FBI director told senators he was behind the release of surveillance video.
A few hours later, that suspect was in custody.
Kash Patel says the investigation is now focused on an online chat Tyler Robinson took part in.
We're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Robinson reportedly confessed to the group. Patel says the FBI will now look into more than 20 people.
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, a judge has dismissed terrorism charges against the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione appearing in court today, where the judge dismissed the 2 counts of murder as a crime of terrorism, but the rest of the indictment remains. He will still be tried in a state court on a charge of intentional murder.
This is absolutely premeditated from the eyes of the judge in terms of this ruling. Second-degree murder is when you have a premeditated murder of an individual. He's facing up to life in prison, 15 years to life in fact. But in terms of his intent was to kill the CEO of United Healthcare, at least based on the grand jury results and the findings of the court. It was not to influence or coerce the civilian population for some sort of policy change. That's what the judge is making a distinction here.
That's Brian Buckmeyer, who says Mangione's next court appearance is December 1st. And here in Nashville, Channel 4 says airport flow is back to normal after that crash caused major problems last night. There happened to be road construction scheduled to begin on Donaldson Pike at the time of that crash. Now, they cleared the crash around 4:30, but the backup lingered. It didn't end until around 11 o'clock last night. Now, Channel 4 says the airport authority leadership team is going to review what happened to try to get a plan in place to prevent it from happening again. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Defend Systems. You got to talk to Brink Fiddler. I've personally taken the training from Defend Systems, and it's awesome. You learn some real-life skills that could actually save somebody's life, and I don't want to ever have to use them. I don't, but I'm happy that I have them. I'm grateful. Defend Systems is a life and safety security consulting firm that specializes in physical security and active violence mitigation training. They've trained everybody, man. Schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, manufacturing plants, country music tours. They've actually trained the entire staff here at Cumulus Nashville. And it's not just like check the box safety training. It's giving you and your employees real life skills that you can use anywhere, even outside of work. They've trained over 30 Middle Tennessee schools. And I got to ask you, has your kid's school gotten the training from Defense Systems? If the answer is no, I would highly recommend that you suggest to the administrators or maybe even fund it yourself, the training from Defense Systems, because dangerous violence events, they're on the rise. I mean, we've seen it this past weeks, and it spills into everyday places. If you or a loved one were critically injured, would you know what to do? If the answer is no, don't wait until it's too late. Visit defendsystems.com. or call 615-236-6484. That's 615-236-6484, defendsystems.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
1137, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, TikTok, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I'll follow back. Appreciate it when you do so. We got a couple calls that want to do the Democrat Christian stuff, and I'll get through those calls. And I want to talk about Pam Bondi. She stepped in it this morning. Did you see this going viral this morning? Oh my gosh, did she step in it? But real quick, let's go to Gary in Springfield up first on Democrats and Christians. What are your thoughts, Gary?
Well, my priest who has moved to Colorado was preaching last fall. It was October time frame, and he interjected politics into his sermons. And he had said, I've had some, and there was scripture backing up what he was saying. And he said, I've had some parishioners come to me, and one of them very angry. How can you preach what sounds like I can't be a Democrat and a Christian at the same time? And he said this in that sermon when in response, so everyone could hear what he told several parishioners. If you come through the narthex, through that door, to come to Mass and want to experience the high point of our faith, the Eucharist, the body and blood of Christ Jesus, and you vote for the culture of death and the leadership in the culture of death, and those that have even named to you in prior homilies, you do that, you have condemned yourself. And no, you cannot call yourself a Christian. He's the Catholic version of the Charlie Kirk. And he's been doing this as long as I'd known him, and now since retired and moved. He said it. He did it.
I love it. We need more priests and pastors who are willing to tell that truth, even when it gets uncomfortable, as opposed to being more cautious because they're worried about losing people in their seats. That's what we need. I got time for one more call on Democrats and Christians. Sally in Cumberland. What's up, Sally?
Yes, hi. The quick answer to that question is no, because, I hear homosexuals and they'll say, well, God loves everybody. And that's true. God does love everybody. But the question you should be asking is, do you love God? Because Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments.
Yep.
So if you're not keeping his commandments, then God might love you, but you don't love him.
Amen. He also said go. He also said go and sin no more, which everybody often leaves out.
Exactly.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate the call, Sally.
He has no relationship with you.
Yep. Exactly. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. 615-737-9986. We're gonna switch topics. We're gonna go over to Pam Bondi. This happened. This happened yesterday, but it was going viral overnight and into this morning. Pam Bondi talking about free speech.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech, and there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
I don't like that. I don't. Hate speech is free speech, and they're doing this in response to Charlie Kirk, and I would just say, like, listen, you want to know what Charlie Kirk thinks about an issue? You go to his Twitter account. There's a little magnifying glass at the top of the Twitter account, and then you can type in any phrase. So this is what I did. I heard these comments from Pam Bondi, and I went, well, what would Charlie say about this? And sure enough, if you search Charlie's X profile for hate speech, you get a lot. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. August 19th, 2017. Boston shows that more speech is the answer to hate speech. Don't arrest people spewing hatred. Show up in numbers and speak truth. October 22nd, 2016. Facebook staff tried to remove Trump posts as hate speech. Liberals in Silicon Valley are tolerant as long as you agree with them. June of 2017. Johnny Depp calls for death of Trump. Let's say it's free speech. Conservatives comes to campus to speak. The left calls it hate speech. September 1st, 2023. Whatever it was in the past, today the ADL is a hate group that dons a religious mask to justify stoking hatred of the left's enemies. I believe in the First Amendment and free speech as a principle, regardless of what the law says. I don't want to ban anyone's speech. Don't ban speech. Pam Bondi saying that she's going to go after hate speech. What are we doing? Honestly. And why are we changing the conversation, Pam? Like, this is what infuriates me the most about this. There's some things that need to be done. 100%. We need to label Antifa as a terrorist organization. We need to go hard at investigating these left-wing groups that are funding this radical ideology. And those should be the main focuses right now. Pam Bondi changing the conversation and changing the narrative, saying that they're going to go after hate speech. They're going to go after hate speech. This is what she said, just one more time, in case you're keeping score at home.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
But if you ask Charlie, he says hate speech is free speech. Charlie would vehemently disagree with that. But Pam Bondi seems to miss that. I don't like Pam Bondi. Just full disclosure.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I listen, say whatever the hell you want. This is the beauty of our country. I often bring this up from time to time, but it bears repeating again. If there were laws against hate speech, you're not going to eliminate these thoughts. You're just going to send them into hiding. My uncle Bob, who's just a great guy, he's the fun uncle, the funkle, if you will. He would say, why wouldn't we want our Nazis wearing armbands? Let them show themselves for who they are. Even all these liberals celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, yeah, it's gross and it's disgusting, but let them expose themselves. They absolutely have the right to do it, and employers have the right to fire them. But there shouldn't be any criminal charges for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. As much as it pains me to say that, you have every right to do so. Just like those companies have every right to fire you. Pam Bondi said, we're going to go after people for hate speech. It's like, no. Absolutely not. What the hell are you doing? You should be removed as the Attorney General. Why? What? Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you're missing anything at all. We're not the UK.
Seriously. Like, I mean, Tommy Robinson, speaking of the UK, just over the weekend, Tommy Robinson, who got jailed for hate speech because he was talking about the rape gangs that were going around raping British girls, the Muslim rape gangs in the UK. He got jailed for hate speech because of that. He's free now, and they had the Million Man March over the weekend in the UK, and they were celebrating Charlie Kirk. And he's like, you understand, the things Charlie would say would be hate speech here. You understand the slippery slope that is hate speech versus free speech, right? Don't fall for that argument. Don't. There's no difference. The only speech that we should be defending is hate speech. You don't have to defend things when people say nice things. Like if I said flowers smell good, nobody has to defend that. Like nobody does. It's the vile stuff that you need to defend. You have to. President Trump was asked about it. And I think it's important to point out, maybe Pam Bondi's comments were misconstrued. Maybe she's really talking about incitement to violence and things like that. But President Trump was asked about it.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
She'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C. is fixed, and I fixed it. The mayor was fine. The mayor was just fine, okay? The mayor had the sick city for many years. He's been mayor for many years. The one that fixed it was me and my people, and it is so safe. You should take your beautiful wife tonight and have dinner down there. You won't be shot. You won't be accosted. You won't even be looked at incorrectly by anybody. Washington, D.C. is safe. Now we're going to Memphis, where it's pretty rough, to put it mildly. And then we're going to have to go. A friend of mine who...
So he addresses the question. He jokes with the ABC reporter, Jonathan Karl, maybe we're going to go after you, which obviously the media is going to play up. Donald Trump says he's going to attack journalists. Like, get ready for that. That's going to happen. Like, I'm surprised that we don't have a Chiron already on CNN. Murphy leaves it on the studio. It's not my choice. It's not my choice. He watches it, so you don't have to. I'm surprised we don't have a Chiron. Donald Trump to target journalists. Like, clearly he's joking. But I would wonder what the administration is going to do about Pam Bondi in this situation. This is another unforced error. Just like handing out those stupid binders with no new information on the Epstein files. Just like dropping the Epstein did kill himself, and we have no list on a holiday weekend. I mean, how many times does Pam Bondi need to show us who she is before we say it's time to get rid of Pam Bondi? Is anybody else feel like that? Is this 3 strikes? I feel like this is 3 strikes. Has Pam Bondi done anything you're proud of? Seriously, like enlighten me. 615-737-9996. And not just like regular crime fighting stuff, but like something like above and beyond that you're like, damn, she did a great job there. Nobody would have been able to do it like Pam. Because they've gotten some things right, and I'm not trying to say that they haven't. But I think anybody in that chair could have gotten the things that Pam's gotten right. Been a lot of unforced error from Pam Bondi. A lot. And I wonder how much President Trump understands that the movement doesn't like her. Right? I don't know if you're paying attention to conservative thought leaders and conservative Twitter. People do not like Pam Bondi. Not one bit. And I'll go a step further. None of this would have happened if Matt Gaetz was Attorney General. None of it. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. But that's just what I think. Pam Bondi. I don't like her. I want her out. And we know that Susie Wiles gatekeeps a little bit of the internet discussion from Donald Trump. So how long until the cries about Pam Bondi get too loud that the president notices and we finally get her removed? There are people saying that they want her out in 48 hours online.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. If you want her out, my question is, who would replace her?
I don't know. I'm
curious if you had anybody in mind or anybody lined up.
I haven't even thought about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I just know that she's trash.
Yeah. I was like, she keeps slipping up. It's driving me nuts.
It's driving me bonkers, man. It's unforced errors over and over and over.
You'd think she would have learned by now.
Like, just, what are you talking about? You're the Attorney General of the United States, so I'm going to go after hate speech. No. Sorry. Even when it's vile and disgusting and from the leftists. No, you can't do that. This is America. It's 11:51. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. These are the guys that I use in my home. These are the guys that I trust. You can trust them too. If you need to get your heater maintained, well, it's time to do it. I mean, we're at that weird time of the year where we're kicking on the heat in the morning. and then we're kicking on the AC in the afternoon. So your system is running overtime. You need to get it maintained the right way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And when you do, refer your neighbor, and both of you guys are going to get $50 credit when you schedule that maintenance. Plus, you can celebrate National Grandparents' Day all month long. If you're a Beehive Club member, gift a free Beehive membership to one set of grandparents. It's their way of honoring family. If you need that new HVAC unit, you can get a free 5-year labor warranty with every purchase. There's a bunch of plumbing deals. They got you covered. $500 off water and drain repipes, $300 off tank to tankless water heaters, and more. And here's the big one. With any HVAC repair or scheduled maintenance, you're going to get free dryer vent cleaning. That's right. Protect your home. Breathe easier on Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Give them a call today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. can't tell that on the air, but I can tell you all. 11:57,
Dun, dun, dun,
Super
dun.
Talk 99.7 WTM. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. It's been a barn burner of a show. I've been getting yelled at.
I know. I listen. Because I had meetings and all this stuff in between my shows, and I turned on. I was like, "What's Chris talking about?" Some guy, and you guys were going back and forth. And he's like, "Are you going to let me talk? Are you?" Yeah. He's like, "I'm sorry." And the minute you start talking, he's like, blah, 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 blah. Are you going to let me talk? Yeah. Sorry about that, Chris.
Yeah, that was Dwayne.
Yeah.
I'm glad he called in.
Yeah.
The thing about guys like that, which, there's a huge difference. We get a lot of the audience to be like, "Get that liberal off the phone." I'm like, he's not a liberal.
No.
Like, you don't understand. There's a huge portion of the conservative movement that I refer to as black-pilled conservatives. It's never going to happen. We wasted our vote, and the ship is sinking. We're screwed. And it's like, I don't think that's the case all the time.
No.
There's some times where I feel that way too.
Yeah. I mean, look, if we're honest, and in our business, a lot of people are afraid because they're afraid the audience is going to turn on them. You got to say, man, there's some swings and misses out there. Nobody's perfect, but some people are so, it doesn't matter what's going to happen. It doesn't.
He got on and he was like, Trump started 7 wars.
Yeah, I didn't even get that.
I was like, okay, all right, so you're Iran, okay. And then, sure, right? Like, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. And then what's the other one? He's like, Venezuela. I was like, you don't want us taking out narco terrorists? That's a war I can support. I know you don't like it.
Well, because it's if we're going to go after, if we're really serious about it, we go after who's in Mexico, because the people, the amount of drugs that moves through Venezuela is so minuscule. But it's not about drugs in Venezuela. It's about what's going on in Guyana, and it's about the light street crude underneath all of their stuff. That's a lot of what that stuff's about.
It's also about Tren de Aragua, and
But Tren de is such a tiny gang comparatively to the Sinaloa. They're moving all the weight and all that stuff in here. That's the issue.
That's fair, but you are sending a message to all of these organizations when you're doing this kind of stuff.
We need to send it to the ones across the way. That's the ones that matter.
Well, and to your point, I would support ramping up those operations immediately. Yeah. Overnight. Let's do both.
What's the weird thing that she says that she's going to try to do now? There's some sort of song contest now for all the gangs? Like a Eurovision song contest, but for all of the
What is it? Is Claudia Scheinbaum is doing that?
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, this is where they're going with
Cartel's Got Talent.
Like, have you met Pam Bondi? Because this would be awesome. You guys should hang out.
Yeah, Pam Bondi. As long as you don't say anything hateful, you can get along with Pam Bondi.
Oh, God.
How did she step in it that bad?
Which time? Like, she keeps... Tell me a day that she doesn't step into it. It feels like every day.
Just keep her away from the TV cameras, and I think it would be better.
Yeah. Or just, hey, Fox, hire her so we don't have to do this anymore.
Would you watch that show?
No, but just get her away from here.
I wouldn't watch that show either. Chad's in next. You can watch his show on YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. It's Super Talk 99.7.